Hi, I'm Chris Martinson of Peak Prosperity. It is Friday, July 24th, 2015. I'm back with your weekly updates after having taken a few weeks off. It has been summer, and we've had a lot of projects going on, not least of which is we're putting the final touches on a manuscript for a new book that's coming out. Adam Taggart and I are writing it, and it's called Prosper. It's all about the exact actions you can take and why you might want to take actions today to protect yourself. As if we needed any more clues to confirm that we needed to do that than we got this past week and the week before. The commodity crash continues. We've seen this before. Commodities are things like cement, iron ore, steel, oil, copper, you name it. Silver and gold are considered commodities, not by yours truly, but by others, I guess they are. And the whole commodity complex, as we've been writing about since December, has really been trundling downwards. That's the real stuff that's used in the real economy to make actual things. So the rest of the economy are things like, finance companies and insurance companies and real estate and things like that, where people are flipping things. That's all well and good, but it's not the core of the economy. We're seeing a real downturn in the core of the economy. Now, we've seen the earnings parade come out these last couple of weeks, big heavy hitters in earnings, and we're seeing not just earnings get fudged with a lot. They have different accounting rules and corporations have been buying their shares back. But what we've been seeing is that revenues have been down about 5% year over year. We are reverting to the mean on this. We have a lot of weakness in the overall landscape. China certainly looks like it's crashing in terms of real estate, its stock market, but most importantly, its import-export statistics and all of its trade data are confirming this idea that China's in a really serious slowdown. They're going to do everything they can to combat it, not the least of which is they're just throwing money at this, huge amounts of money to keep stocks elevated, to keep lending going so the housing market doesn't crash. China, if they're not careful, is going to end up in a crack-up boom. They're going to end up with an inflationary spiral out of all of this as people lose faith, of course, in the printed currency as it comes due and out into their economy. Now, what's been interesting is in the last week or so, we've seen a number of very concerted bear raids in gold. Now, these are smashes that happen in thinly traded markets. The most recent one, this is Friday, last Sunday, starting at 9:29 in a few seconds Eastern time in the evening, gold suddenly got smashed in a couple of hundred milliseconds. I said that right, milliseconds, it lost $50. Tons and tons and tons were tossed into the market by somebody. Now, if you were reading the newspaper, they told you that, this was investors digesting the Chinese official gold data, or they were telling you that this was investors doing this or that. This wasn't investigators. These are speculators. These are deep-pocketed individuals who are capable of throwing tens of tons of gold into the market or the paper market in 100 milliseconds. You can't do that. I can't do that. It's a certain player. So somebody's been running the bear raids, attempting to drive gold lower. They do it because they make money at it, but here's the wrinkle. U.S. regulators won't take a look at this because it was driving gold down. I'm convinced that if we saw equivalent raids going on the other side, long raids, that we would see if gold was spiking $50 in a couple of hundred milliseconds, I bet you'd see the CFTC come out. I bet you'd see a little SEC inquiry. I bet you'd see stuff like that because we don't live in a nation of laws. We live in a nation of guidelines and suggestions. As long as they support official policy, anything goes, right? So that's really the world we live in right now, and it's astonishing to see where this is all headed. So I have a new two-part report out about deflation. It looks like deflation's taking over. If deflation wins, if those forces of deflation swamp what the central banks have done and are going to continue to do to prop these markets up, this will be another downturn like 2008, only this time a lot worse. Why? Because the imbalances are higher and trust is lower. I talk to people all the time who have a lot of money, who manage money. They have this much faith in the system at this point. Everybody knows we're playing a game of musical chairs, and when the time comes to get a chair, they're all going to scramble and sit down as fast as they can. So I think there's fireworks coming. It's interesting. July, August, not usually a good time to have fireworks, but the stresses are there, the pressures are there. It feels like something's in the air. Will it happen this week? Will it happen in a year? I don't know. But I will tell you that we're going to have a big crash at some point and everybody can feel it. So With that, I hope you're safe. I hope you're having a great summer. I would invite you to take a look at your preparations and the ways in which you are mentally, physically, emotionally ready for change to come. And that's the invitation. You can do it with joy. You can do it out of fear. Our preference is that we do what we're going to do in life out of joy, out of love, not out of fear. At the same time, that's not a call to put our heads in the sand, become ostriches, and act as if we're not seeing what's going on in the world. This is a time really to pay attention. So I'm Chris Martinson of Peak Prosperity. If you haven't, please subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next time.